But the problem that we are seeing around the country is that you are not following the law. Don't tell us to change the law. If you don't like the asylum system, you change the asylum law. Bring it to us. We'll work with you. I think it needs to be changed. But you can't just decide that you're not going to follow the law.
Representative Dan Goldman just obliterated DHS Secretary Kristi Noem on Capitol Hill. And folks, the hypocrisy was so thick you couldn't cut it with a chainsaw. DHS publicly declared an ICE officer's conduct unacceptable after a video caught him aggressively targeting an asylum seeker's family. They suspended him and then quietly put him right back on the beat just 3 days later. Unbelievable. I mean, seriously? Let's just watch how this disaster unfolds.
Goldman for 5 minutes.
Secretary Noem, let's talk about the law. Do you agree that asylum is a lawful pathway to immigrate to this country? Yes or no?
There's an asylum program, yes, in place.
All right. So immigrants then with ongoing asylum applications are legally in this country, correct?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Your question was?
Immigrants with ongoing asylum applications are legally in this country.
There are individuals in this country that have applications that...
And they are legally here because it's a lawful pathway, right?
It's a lawful pathway.
Okay, so if your department then deports anyone with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law, correct?
Joe Biden left us with...
I'm not asking about Joe Biden. I'm asking you a specific question. If your department deports anyone with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law. Is that correct?
It was greatly violated when they allowed
I'm asking you.
people to come
I'm
in
asking
and granted asylum applications.
Why are you filibustering? Why can't you answer the question? It's a simple question.
Your president,
if your department
your secretary
deports
did not follow
anyone
the law,
with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law. Isn't that correct?
The asylum program was broken under the last...
Mr. Chairman, I will reclaim my time. She's not answering the question. But the obvious answer is that, yes, if you follow a lawful pathway, asylum is a lawful pathway. If you have an open asylum case, you are here lawfully. But the problem that we are seeing around the country is that you are not following the law. Don't tell us to change the law. If you don't like the asylum system, you change the asylum law. Bring it to us. We'll work with you. I think it needs to be changed. But you can't just decide that you're not going to follow the law, and asylum is a law, and deport people who have ongoing applications. Unfortunately, that is exactly what's happening. It's happening across the street from my office right in New York City. Numerous, thousands of people who have come to court appearances, have left them with open asylum applications, have been arrested. And then they've been shipped off and many deported. In September, one applicant was ripped away from his wife and small children after such a court appearance. And then this happened to his wife. Please play the video. No, it's not. It's not this one. All right, it's not this video. Here it is.
I'm yours. Come on, man.
Now, after this incident, your department issued a statement that said the officer's conduct in this video is unacceptable and beneath the men and women of ICE. Our ICE law enforcement are held to the highest professional standards, and this officer is being relieved of current duties as we conduct a full investigation. 3 days later, you reinstated that officer and you put him back on duty. I sent you a letter and asked you what investigation was done and why was he reinstated. You did not answer that letter. So I'm going to give you an opportunity right here to explain to me that if that officer's conduct was, quote, beneath the men and women of ICE, unquote, why did you reinstate him?
Sir, that investigation was completed. I can give you that investigation and the information that you would like. This is
I wrote you 2 months ago. Why haven't you given it to me yet?
I'm actually surprised that you haven't gotten it. I'm going to ask my staff about that.
Well, you shouldn't be surprised because generally speaking,
hundreds
you do
and
not
hundreds,
respond
if not
to
thousands
us.
of your letters.
Now, the other problem that we are
Orcus, when he had
seeing
this
all
job,
over
didn't
the
respond to letters
country
for years.
is that your officers are wearing masks, are dressed in plain clothes, often going around without identification.
All of our officers are identified.
I'm not asking a question. I introduced the No Secret Police Act to stop this. And we now have 113 co-sponsors so that they will not be masked and that they will identify themselves. Now, you say all of them are identifying themselves. That is not the case, because last month in New York City again, the NYPD officers were injured by your masked, plainclothes ICE officers after they were called from 911 as residents witnessed your officers pulling individuals out of their vehicles and chasing them down the street. I also asked you what happened there. How were the NYPD officers injured by your officers? And you didn't respond. What's the answer?
Sir, our individual
Gentlemen's
officers
time
are
is
identified.
time has expired.
I yield
I
back.
recognize gentleman from Texas, Mr. Gonzalez.
Look at how Goldman starts this off. He forces Noem to admit, right out of her own mouth, that seeking asylum is a 100% legal pathway in this country. And why is that so critical? Because if you have an active asylum claim, you are legally allowed to be here while it's processed. Period. So when DHS and ICE turn around and deport people in the middle of their legal proceedings, they are flat out breaking federal law. And watch what Noem does the second she gets backed into a corner. She immediately tries to blame the previous administration. Oh, classic. But Goldman doesn't let her get away with it for a single second. He cuts her off, holds the line, and makes her face what her department is doing right now. Love to see it. Then Goldman drops this absolute truth bomb. Executive agencies don't just get to make up the law as they go along. If you don't like current asylum statutes, you come to Congress and try to change them. You don't just ignore the Constitution because it's inconvenient for your political narrative. And then he brings up what's actually happening to real human beings in places like New York. People are literally showing up to their mandatory court dates, doing everything the system asks of them, and ICE is lying in wait outside the courtroom to snatch them up. It makes me so furious. They are using people's compliance with the legal system as a trap. How is anyone supposed to trust the rule of law when doing the right thing gets you targeted? Now, back to this officer. This part made my jaw drop. DHS literally put out an official statement saying this guy's conduct was beneath the standards of law enforcement. 3 days later, he's back on the street with a badge and a gun. What kind of thorough investigation happens in 72 hours? Are they kidding me? Goldman asks her point blank why his office was ignored for 2 months when they asked for basic paperwork on this. And Noem just sits there. No answers, no accountability, just pure stonewalling while protecting abusive conduct. And then we get to the masked officers. Wow, Goldman calls out ICE agents running around in plain clothes with face coverings and zero visible identification. He brings up a case in New York where masked agents pulled people out of cars in broad daylight. Local residents were so terrified by these unidentified, unmarked men that they called 911. And when local police showed up to stop what looked like a kidnapping, nipped officers ended up getting injured in the chaos. It is dangerous, it is unconstitutional, and it's why Goldman is pushing the No Secret Police Act to ban this authoritarian garbage once and for all. Plainclothes, masked agents snatching people off the street. In America? Absolutely not. I want to hear what you all think about this exchange. Did Goldman hit the nail on the head or what? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.